Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. This is Jeremy International. This is the advice stream. Hello, thanks for taking time out of your busy night to join me today. Hey Eichel, hi, it's good to see you again. Welcome back. And Sartuk, thanks. First time chat from Sartuk. Nice to meet you. The way that, oh my gosh, this is not the screen I should have. There we go. The way that the advice stream works, we are live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitch, we're live at JeremyInternational.com. This is the stream where I play some old video games for an hour, you ask me questions, I give you advice, and we have a good time for 1 hour. And then the second hour, we have a special guest, the amazing, the talented, the funny comedian Linsay Deming, who you may have seen on the internet before, sometimes standing right next to me, sometimes standing over there. So we have a show tonight for sure. I'd like to remind everyone, if you would like to seek advice in the chat, just throw it in there. I'm keeping an eye on it myself. If you would like to seek advice in a way where your screen name isn't, hey Fred Undead, hello. If you'd like to seek advice in a way where your social media screen name is not right next to your question, you can go on over to JeremyInternational.com and submit a question in the contact form, which I will also be keeping an eye on. I have never once gotten a message through there, but maybe I will today. You never know. I have some questions that I have borrowed from other sources on the internet. So if no one needs advice tonight, good for you. But I have some questions that we can dig up later. So I hope everyone's having a good time. I'm having my weekly glass of whiskey. Ooh, thanks, Eichel. Oh, is Eichel actually using the contact form at JeremyInternational.com? I hope it works because I don't know, because I've never used it, but it should. I did test it, so I know that it works. So thanks. I appreciate it. If you're new to the stream and you're not sure why I, Jeremy International, should be submitting, giving out advice to people, let me tell you, I'm not old, I'm not young. I got some city miles on me, if you know what I mean. I've been through a couple of things in my life. I've really invested in my physical and mental health. It is a struggle. I'm not where I would like to be, but maybe I will be someday. But that's not really how life works. You do your best, you roll with the punches, and you get through it, because there's no other choice, unfortunately, not really. So I hope that I have some wisdom, some insight that might be able to help you. So if you are out there in the world and you need some help, you have a problem, you find yourself in a situation, you don't know how to proceed, I might be able to help you. Financial questions, I'll do my best. I continue to struggle in making the right choices in that field. I don't currently have a job, but I've been through everything else. So, relationships, I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to give you medical advice, but I can help you out with navigating medical situations, because I've been through a lot of that. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but I'm a cancer survivor and some other stuff. So I've been there. I know what it's like to have to face doctors. Hey, Start Rec, hiya back. Good to see you again. Oh, it's so nice to see people. Sometimes life is rough, but you got friends and you got strangers on the internet that want to participate in your life, and I respect that a lot. And I'm happy. I'm happy where I am, and I'm happy who I am. That's important. And and sometimes you don't always feel good. I don't always feel great, but I'll look good, and I'll take it. So that's what you got to do sometimes. Today we are still playing Out of This World for the Sega Genesis, 1992. Because I didn't get very far last week, and I really love this game. It's hard. I hope that it's kind of entertaining. Thanks, Start Rec, saying that I look good. Yeah, I'm hanging in there. I think I did a workout last week once. But I love this game. I think it's pretty unique. It's a special game. As if you saw it last week, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, you're gonna see it here in a minute because I'm gonna play it again. We are starting at the beginning because I did not get far enough last week in an hour to get to the point to save it. If you remember, we're a cool 80s dude and a fancy car, and something science happens, and we have to swim away from some tentacles. And then we jumped over these things that killed us a lot because we didn't get the jumps right. And then there was like a beast, like a gargoyle kind of deal. And Startrek, you were an attention addict last week. Well, let me tell you, Startrek, if you're an attention addict, if anyone out there is an attention addict, this is the show for you because there's never been a person more addicted to attention than Jeremy International over here. So I understand that. I understand that feeling, and I'm with you. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. It's interesting. I'm seeing people in the chat, but I'm not seeing them in the list of things. How's it going over on Facebook? How you doing, Facebook? If anyone out there is watching on Facebook, give me the old thumbs up. And then when everyone on Facebook is done, let me hear from everybody out on the YouTubes. Give a shout out to my YouTube peeps, who is no one. Oh, someone's watching on YouTube. Is it me? I think it's me. So I'm the one. I'm going to go back over to Twitch because that seems to be where the people are. I also want to say no pressure. But if you are enjoying the show, if you ask a question and you're happy with the answer, if you have a couple bucks laying around and you want to give old Jeremy International a tip, I don't have a job, then feel free to do that. No pressure if you don't. It's totally fine. I'm not gonna be on the streets if you don't send me a couple bucks. Oh boy. I just made the mistake of checking the junk box on my throwaway account in case the notification about anyone sending a message through the contact portal at Jeremy International went through, and it's all porn. The weird thing is it's not the kind of porn that I like. So I don't know why they sent me that email, because at least, they should know. If Google does everything, follows you on the internet everywhere, then they should know what Jeremy International is into. And it was not what was in that email. So the algorithm has let me down. Okay. Here we go. Now I'm not gonna do the whole, or should I do the whole? Because it sounds so good. By the way, if you don't remember from last week, I am playing the original cartridge. I have a very complete copy of Out of This World for the Sega Genesis 1992. I am playing it on my analog Mega SG, which is a gadget that a wonderful company called Analog makes that lets you play original Sega Genesis games and output them through HDMI at 1080. Yeah, that's me, Fred Undead. You got me nailed right there. I actually would prefer to spell thick with 3 C's. That's how thick. I'm not going to read text. I don't read text to people. If you want to read that, you can rewind and pause. But suffice to say, there's some sci-fi early 90s. Thanks for that. 4 C's. Wow. Look at this game, everyone. I just want you to take a minute and look at this and how beautiful this is. This is 16-bit Sega Genesis, and it looks amazing. I'm not going to read back everything. Yeah, I like my boba tea to be like when I drink from the straw, I want to like have a mouthful of stuff to chew. I want to feel like I'm a cow and I'm just chewing through all of this stuff. Hey, Hanya, how's it going? I miss your voice too. Totally fine if you don't want to stick around. But Lindsay's gonna join us at in the second hour, and we'll see what happens. The good news is you don't have to watch this show live. It is recorded and it will stay on the internet forever. So you can watch anytime you want. You can watch it in 5-minute increments. Eichel says, I do not like balls in my mouth, especially in my drink. Well, good for you, Eichel. But I don't just like the tapioca balls, but I like it when they put like those gummy bear things in the bottom too. So you're just drinking and then like, this is me. This is an impression of me drinking boba tea. I like it extra. I like it extra chewy. You quote me on that? Yeah, OMG Fred Undead says, forever on the internet like everyone's unsolicited dick pics. You know, let me tell you, I've always gotten solicited for my dick pics. So, fortunately, there aren't any unsolicited ones out there. And I'll tell you in life, if someone's not soliciting you for pictures of your junk, then you gotta rethink your life. There should be someone out there that wants to see pictures of your business. That's what friends are for. So you should go ask. Startrek says, they call me Dr. Worm. Good morning. How are you? I'm Dr. Worm. Okay, that's too many names for you, Startrek. I'm already confused by the number of names that you have, so I'm going to stick with the ones that I know. I'm not going to add in additional names. Also, I'm not gonna, however much anyone solicits, I'm not gonna post any of the aforementioned pictures on this format because that's a good way to get shut down on the internet. Okay, we've looped back over, so here we go. Also, one of the things, we're gonna skip that. One of the things that's really cool about the Analog Pocket is you can play with original hardware. I just plugged my original Sega Genesis controller. It's a 3-button, not a 6-button. You don't need 6 buttons for Out of This World. You really don't need 3. I think you need 2. So that's what I'm playing with, because here's the first piece of advice from Jeremy International this episode. If you're doing anything on the internet live, go wired. Wire everything. Don't rely on wireless. Don't rely on Bluetooth. Don't even rely on your Wi-Fi, to be honest. I'm all wired all the time when I'm going live. Last week, if you remember, I tried to use a really nice 6-button Genesis controller, and that was Bluetooth, and it didn't work. My fault, user error, I'm sure. It was by 8BitDo. They make great stuff. I'm talking a lot about these companies, by the way, because I'm hoping that they'll send me free stuff. But I mean it. I'm legitimate. That Analog makes great stuff. I bought almost everything Analog ever made, and I've only ever been blown away by it. 8BitDo makes really great stuff too. But my controller, I must not have paired it right or whatever, stopped working in the first couple minutes of the stream, and then I was out of luck. So wire in whenever you can. Oh yeah, Startrek, you got a couple 8BitDo controllers. Aren't they great? Here's their, just like a side-by-side. Here's an original Genesis controller wired in. This is from the 90s. And this is 8BitDo's wireless controller. And it's so pretty. Look, they look similar, but they're different. It's a little more streamlined. Love it. But if I was playing on my own, like I often am, I'd go with this. This is great. And it charges with USB-C, so you can't beat that. But just because I want to reduce my points of failure, when you're going live, reduce your points of failure. I'm going wired. I'm going OG. Yeah, we'll start. Like, the reason you're having problems with your drivers is probably because you're using Windows, and Windows always has problems with their drivers. That's just how it is. That's how it is sometimes. Okay, Out of This World. Did anyone send me any questions? Oh, I did get. Did I? No. If anyone sent me a question through the contact form at Jeremy International, if you sent it, I haven't gotten notified yet, so it might not be working after all, which is fine. Maybe it'll come through later. Yeah, I know. I take it as I'll a little bit more information about me. I worked for Apple for almost 20 years. I don't anymore. That's why I can say that, because when you work for them, they don't like it when you talk uh, about working for them. It's like being in the CIA, but you rarely commit war crimes. No, no rush, Eichel. Please take your time. We got 2 hours. We're an hour and 45 minutes at this point, unless we go long. So take your time. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you for answering my question. You haven't sent it yet. That's cool. Just because I haven't gotten it. But since we've been live for 15 minutes, I'll go ahead and say again, this is the advice stream. I'm Jeremy International. We are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. We're live at JeremyInternational.com. If you want to participate in the chat, you can do it in any of those places except for JeremyInternational.com. There's not a chat there yet. And come by, say hi. If you have questions, let me know. I think I'm in a good position to answer a lot of people's life questions. And for reasons I talked about earlier, I could go over my credentials again in a bit. I understand, Eichel. Eichel, look, you don't need to do anything you don't want to do. Embarrassment is a big thing. I can tell you that I'll do everything in my ability to protect anyone from being embarrassed, because I don't like being embarrassed either. We've all been there. But that's a good point. Fred Undead says, no one here knows who you are. If that's the case, then go get weird, man. I'm not going to judge you. The only thing I judge people for is if they are actively trying to dismantle our democracy, or if you're doing actual work to try to strip people away from their essential civil rights. If you're not doing any, if your question doesn't imply you're doing any of those things, I'm not going to judge you. My threshold for human behavior has become very low over the last, I'm just arbitrarily going to say 6 years. And those are really the only things I find unforgivable in a person. Are you a fascist? Are you trying to strip away fundamental human rights away from other human beings? If that's the case, this probably is not the stream for you, and you should step off and maybe, I don't know, jump in a river or something. But as long as you're not doing those two things, then that's cool. Then I respect you, I see you, and I will do everything in my ability within the confines of a live stream to help you out. That's my threshold. That's my bar. No fash, no taking away people's fundamental human rights. And also, bodily autonomy is a human right. I just want to be clear about that. And owning unlimited amounts of unregistered, unregulated firearms is not a human right. That's not a political message. That's just a message. Good, Eichel. Thank you for not doing either of those things. Okay. Then you are welcome, Eichel. Come on board, man. You're part of the fam now. I just became the streamer, one of the types of streamers that says the word fam. So good for me. That's weird. Am I not live on Facebook? No, there I am. There I am. And just checking over on the tubes. Yeah. It's working. It's working. It's a Linux system. I know this. And it's working. Cool. Isn't it great when everything works? Okay, speaking of working, let's get started on Out of This World, 20 minutes in. So if you haven't seen the game before, you start and then you gotta swim. You gotta swim, because what? Look at those tentacles. And I didn't swim fast enough because I paused so you could see the tentacles. And I died. I don't know if a lot of people, I don't have a code. Can I get back out of the code? Pause. Okay. Is there a back? I hit the wrong button. Let's reset. Why don't we reset? Because I'm not playing on a Sega Genesis, we don't get the Sega. I wish we did. That would be cool. But we don't. And I'm going to skip through all of this. Here we go. We're just going to go right in. And here I am. And so you got to swim right away because they're the tentacles. And you can't hang out by the water either because they'll get you. So I'm running. And what's the hop button? That's kick. Hop. And then you run and you run and you hop. Nope. And then I died. I'm dead. So this is, if you weren't here last week, this is how this game works. Press A or B to continue. You die a lot, but you learn quick. And I'm only paying half attention to it because that's how my brain works. I think also I can go this way, can I? I can. Okay. So that's what I got to do. So eventually I'm going to find leap. Nope. Dead again. Eventually you come in contact with like this creature and you have to run back. And that little cliff is what you do. So as you can see, this game is hard. If I was like 12 and didn't have anything else to do or think about in my life, then, but I think can I kick? Kick. So you could, nope. I thought I could kill them. It doesn't take a lot, that's some kind of like, neurotoxin. Cool. Anything going on? Some other pieces of advice I've given in the past for people that are new. My favorite my favorite piece of advice is don't wait till you're ready. I say this a lot. Don't wait till you're ready. The way, that showbiz works, the way that theater works. Oh, thanks. I am a dreamboat. Depending on what you dream about, like Freddy Krueger dreamboat, and I died because I was busy being flattered by Start Wrecking Fred Undead. Flattery, is my kryptonite. Swim. When you do a play, my world, my back, shit. All right, I need to take my time. So that's another piece of advice. Take your time, do it right. I think that's a Gap Band song, which is so good. Take your time, do it right. Don't wait till you're ready. That's the opposite of take your time, do it right, I guess. When you do a play, shit. I said I wasn't gonna swear, and I'm swearing here because I'm doing so bad at this. When you do a play, you don't wait till you're ready and then open the play. You pick a date sometime in the future, and then wherever you're at that date is what ready means. And then you just do it. Pick a date. If there's something you want to do, if there's a project you want to do, if you want to do a live stream, if you want to do, stand-up comedy, if you want to ask someone to marry you, if you want to ask someone to leave you alone for the rest of your life, pick a date. And then you're going to do it on that date. So you have to be ready. Ready becomes where you're at that time. Ideas like ready and certainty don't really exist for people who have working brains. So don't wait till you're ready. Don't wait till you're certain. Take some precautions. You got to look out for yourself like that. And you'll be fine. Kick. Jump. Nope. And you're fine. So that's one piece of advice. Don't wait till you're ready. Another piece of advice is, that's a really good point, Fred Undead. It's like deciding to have a kid. There's all of these like optimal things that you want to have in life if you want to have a kid, before you have a kid, like some amount of money and like space and stability. And I agree with that. Unfortunately, we live in a country where most people still get to decide whether they're going to have a baby or not. That hopefully will last longer, but no one knows. And so most people still get to choose. So you get to choose when you have a kid, hopefully. You live in a part of the country that lets people do that still. But you can't wait until everything's perfect because it's never going to happen. So if there's something you want to do, if there's something you want to say, Give yourself a date, and then on that date is what ready means. I am determined. I'm going into concentration mode. I am determined to to get through that. Fred Undead knows about this because a lot of people might not realize this, but Fred Undead and I have a kid, and so we did that. We did that firsthand. We waited until we were at a certain level of stability, but I don't think we really waited till you're ready, because you can't really wait until you're ready on a thing like that. No, it's the third one. The third one gets you. You gotta live your life. Let's see, what else do we got? Advice wise. Here's another one. If you eat shrimp, always keep a bag of frozen shrimp in your refrigerator. It is something that comes together in a meal really quickly. If you got a bag of rice, you got a box of pasta, make the rice, make the pasta, put the shrimp on top, you got a meal. Super easy. If you're doing pasta, then scoop a couple ladles out of the water the pasta boiled on, dump that on the shrimp at the last minute, pour a little bit of white wine, hopefully something not too sweet. You got yourself a meal. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to love it. A little bit of garlic never helps. Yeah, that's a little piece of shrimp advice, Eichel. That's for you. Also, I don't know if you know this or not, but when you're buying a bag of shrimp, the number on the bag refers to how many shrimp fit in a pound. So the lower the number, the bigger the shrimp. So if you want big shrimp, low number. If you want little shrimp for whatever reason, big number. Rice, pasta, shrimp, great combo. Hanya, I don't know if I would do all three of those at once. That seems a little carb heavy for me. But if that's your journey, then, who am I to say? Like I was saying, I don't judge anyone that's not a fascist on this show. So if you want to do pasta, rice, and shrimp together, maybe throw some tomatoes in just, to break it up a little bit. You're going to need a little bit of fiber, I think, with that dish. Because that seems a lot. But who am I to say? I'm not a dietitian. But I think I'm a good cook. If anyone out in the chat there is a person I've ever prepared a meal for, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on. Okay, I said shrimp or pasta. I did not say both, Hanya. But who am I to say? Hanya's not a fascist, so I'm not judging Hanya on this. I like to throw a couple tomatoes in that dish as well. If you don't, here's another bit of advice. If you don't eat shrimp, let's say you're a vegetarian, let's say you're a vegan. So you get a block of, not the extra firm tofu, but regular firm tofu. Wrap it up, make like a big cigar out of paper towels with the tofu. Put a plate on top and on bottom. Set a heavy bag of beans or rice maybe on top of the plate, so that the water, when the ends of the tofu cigar get damp, replace the paper towels, do it again. I know there's a lot of paper towels. If you want to use cloth dish towels, do it, but use a bunch of them so that you can absorb a lot of moisture. Then heat up some olive oil, get it nice and hot in a skillet, and cut the tofu into like fingers. I cut the block into half longwise and then on top like that. And then cook it a lot. Cook it longer than you think, so it gets nice and crispy on top. If you pulled all that moisture out, if you were successful doing that, then it's going to get nice and crispy. And the great thing about tofu is it absorbs whatever you're cooking with. So, if you want to do some soy sauce, some sesame oil, what else would be good with that? That would be vegan. Let's say you're vegan in this case. Because I was going to say maybe put like a little bit of anchovy paste in there, but you probably don't want to do that. But sesame oil is very flavorful. A little bit goes a long way. And just cook it until you can see that it's crispy on the outside. And that's so good because it's crunchy on the outside and it's still kind of like creamy and soft. It's like a French fry in the middle. Man, that's delicious. Maybe some sriracha, throw in some broccoli, and then rice. Here's another piece of advice I'll give you. If you're gonna cook rice, do brown rice. Don't do white rice. Brown rice, white rice isn't bad for you, but brown rice is more nutritious and it's more flavorful. So I only do brown rice these days. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of that. What time is it? Oh man, it's only half an hour and I still have made zero progress. But I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna keep playing on this. If anyone else has any advice, here's a question in the chat. Why doesn't everyone, if you want to, no pressure if you don't, in the chat, we just came out of the weekend. Let's look back at the week and pick out something that was really good, something that was really fun and positive that you experienced in the last week since our last show, since Monday. So Tuesday until today, let's say. Something good. Tell me about it. I'd like to hear about that. You know, these are sometimes dark times. Where I live, it's been overcast and rainy most of the time, and it's just kind of a bummer. And you know, when the weather's like that, my energy gets low, and I just want to nap all day, which I can do because I don't have a job. My kid's in school, but I don't want to do that because I got life to live. So tell me something good. Tell me something good that happened to you in the last week, and then I'll share something good that happened to me. Does that sound like a deal? Cool. I'm gonna play the game while I'm waiting for somebody. Startrek, you recorded a Christmas song at 4:30 in the morning, but then I went completely insane. You went completely insane after you recorded a Christmas song at 4:30 in the morning in February, not before you did that. Also, who's to say what insane is? Who's to say? I'm not a doctor, so to me it seems like making a Christmas song in February at 4:30 in the morning is maybe something an insane person would do, but I don't know. I'm not gonna say that. But Startrek, was that good? Was that a good experience? Did you have a good time? So you went insane as you were recording a Christmas song at 4:30 in the morning. Let me tell you, I'll tell you a little something about old Jeremy International here. 4:30 in the morning is a wonderful time. I don't really have the life where I can be up at 4:30 in the morning because I have a kid I have to wake up and get ready for school at usually around 8. But man, I've had some really great times. I'm not saying like out like partying in the world, although that's happened before too. But just like on my own, like cruising the internet, playing a video game. You know, I'm playing Out of This World on the Sega Genesis here, but in my free time, I just started Cyberpunk 2077 on the PlayStation 5. That game got a lot of criticism when it came out. I'm not going to say it's perfect. I'm not going to say that it's worthy of the hype that it got. But I'm really enjoying that game. I think it's really great. So yeah. Anyways, if you have a device you can play Cyberpunk 2077 on, should give it a shot. It got really bad rap, and a lot of it deserved just because it was overhyped. It is not the game that I think we were marketed, but it ended up being a pretty good video game. So I suggest people check that out. Mania is most efficient at 4:30 a.m. So they say, yeah, Eichel, I think that might be true. But if you're gonna be manic, 4:30 in the morning in your own home, making a Christmas song, that's a pretty good way to focus your manic energy. Hopefully people are able to modulate between their ups and downs. That's a struggle for me sometimes. But 4:30 in the morning writing a Christmas song, I think, is a pretty good focus for manic energy. I support that. For sure. Is there a way, Startrek, that we can hear this Christmas song you recorded at 4:30 in the morning? I want to say I don't love, as a person that's never celebrated Christmas, not celebrating Christmas in a world where Christmas is everything, which is our world, is a bit exhausting and kind of annoying to an extreme degree. Having said that, Startrek, I would like to hear your Christmas song. Yeah, send it to me because we're friends and I care about you, and maybe you'll get me to be less enraged about Christmas every year, because that's how I've been since I was 5. Only if you want to share that with everybody, start rec. But if you wrote a song, I feel like you should want everybody to hear it, right? That's, Steve Jobs said real artists ship. And he wasn't talking about 4:30 in the morning Christmas songs, but I think it applies to this as well. I would say real artists don't wait till they're ready. That's the Jeremy International quote. You can quote me on that. Real artists don't wait till they're ready. They just they do a little bit of prep, but they do it. The definition of an artist is someone that makes art, and your art is yours. It's whatever you want it to be, and don't let anybody ever say what you're doing isn't good or isn't art, because it's yours, and only you get to decide that. We're gonna try this again. Out of This World, 1992 Sega Genesis. We're gonna do it again. Swim, swim, swim. And so here we go. Ready? We're going. We're just gonna do it. We're not gonna wait till we're ready. We're gonna leap. Nope. Okay. So maybe you wait till you're a little ready. Maybe you wait till you're a little ready. Start Rec just, it's a video. Start Rec just sent me their 4:30 in the morning Christmas song. I'll listen to it later, but I'm very excited. I don't know if I've ever been excited in any way about Christmas. That's not true. So here's my favorite Christmas movie is White Christmas with Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye, and I'll tell you why. One reason is there's no Christmas in it at all. It's a weird title for a movie that doesn't really have an awful lot to do with Christmas. And the second reason is because Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye are wonderful in that movie. I feel like Danny Kaye is the guy you got when Fred Astaire was busy. More like when Gene Kelly was busy. And Gene Kelly must have been busy that week, so they got Danny Kaye. But he does great, and that movie is wonderful. And if I have any Christmas tradition besides getting dim sum, it's watching White Christmas with Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye, because that movie is wonderful. The opening scene particularly is great. If you haven't seen, if I had planned this in advance, I'd push a button and have the movie poster come up. Seems like it's a Christmas movie. It's really not. And it's really great. It's a great movie, so you should see it. Okay, I'm gonna do one more try on this game, and then we're gonna take a little break. And when we come back, we're gonna have our special guest, Linsay Deming, comedian, writer, filmmaker, one sheet maker. That sounds like a Pat Benatar song. Linsay Deming, my friend and yours. She will have all kinds of really wonderful things. Okay, Star Rec, I'm really excited. I'm going to wait till the stream is over. Unless you want me to play it on the stream, I could, but I'm not going to do that without your clear. Oh yeah, no, Eichel, we do advice all the time. Anytime during the live stream you're going to seek advice, we're going to do it. The benefit, I guess, to waiting until the second hour is you'll have my input, and you'll also have the special guest input. And our special guest, that's totally fine. Oh, you just want me to hear it. That's flattering. You just want the Jewish person to hear your Christmas song and give their take on it, and I will. But the benefit, Eichel, to waiting till the second hour is you're going to get my take, and you're going to get our special guest take. And our special guest, let me tell you, I've never had any lamos as a special guest. Every special guest we have on the advice stream is a top-notch 5-star example of a person. And that's no different today than it's ever been before. So if you want to wait until the second hour, we could do that. And then our special guest, comedian, filmmaker, musician, oh my gosh, I forgot, most talented musician I know, a multidisciplinary talented person, Linsay Deming, will be on the second hour, which we're gonna start. We're gonna go for 9 more minutes. I'm gonna take a 10-minute break, and we'll bring Linsay in when we come in, at least Eastern Standard Time at 10. Yeah, I'll take. You know what? There's very few. The only rules we really have on the advice stream is, don't be a fascist. Don't try to take away people's fundamental human rights, and then you're good to go. I'm not stressing out about this. I don't know if you can tell, but I don't stress out about this show, and you shouldn't either. So send the question whenever you want. I'll go ahead and say I won't address it until the second hour anyway. So we got Linsay Deming in, and that's probably a good thing to think about, because I try to have, as often as possible, that our guest to be, a different type of person than me, because that's really how you learn, and that's how you grow, is getting other people's insight into your life. If I just had early middle-aged, mostly hetero Jewy guys on the show, then we'd probably all give the same advice, and no one grows, no one learns, especially not me, from that. So you got to have diversity. The Vulcans understood that. The Vulcans in Star Trek have this philosophy called the IDIC, IDIC, means infinite diversity, infinite combinations. People are diverse. Everyone has a unique perspective, and the more perspectives you bring in, the more diversity, the more combinations you have, the stronger we all are. It's really important, and I'll always do my best to make sure that the guests that I have are gonna be having different demographic or different gender identities or different racial identities or different whatever backgrounds, because that's diversity, that's inclusion. Those are two different things, but those things are important to me. I hope they're important to all of you. And if you're seeking advice, you got to have that. You have to have different perspectives, because there are plenty of things, like with Start Rex example. I appreciate you sending me the Christmas song. I'm excited to hear it. But I don't know if I'm the primary demographic about Christmas, because I kind of hate Christmas, to be honest. But I'm excited to hear it because it's from you. But maybe you want to send that song to someone that has less of a animosity-based relationship with Christmas, to get their input on it too. If I didn't say before, I'm drinking a little bit of High West bourbon. I enjoy a bourbon from time to time. I can also answer any of your advice questions about bourbon. I think I know a thing or two about it. This is generally not my preferred bourbon, but it's nice. It's less expensive than my preferred one, and I'm on a budget these days. Yes, if you send it to the Andrew we're thinking of, I think his views about Christmas are the same as mine, but I could be wrong about that, Start Rec. I don't know. Something you might want to ask to see about Andrew. I'm 99% sure that his take is the same. All right, we got some people here. Hey, everybody! I haven't done this in a little while, so let me make another little plug for this show. This is the advice stream. I'm Jeremy International. That's my name. We are live. Andrew did write a Christmas song. That's true. So maybe his view on Christmas is different than mine. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. We are live at JeremyInternational.com. You can watch the show in any place you'd like to. It seems like most people are on Twitch right now, which is fine. If you'd like to participate in the chat, and please do, you can do so on Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. JeremyInternational.com does not currently have chat, but we're working on it. So if you're in the chat, please say hi. I can see them all at the same time. Please participate. Please continue to share. I am here to give you advice. If you have questions, if you have a problem, if you're in a conundrum, a pickle, then ask me for help. I'm not an expert in anything. but I've lived a life. I'm not old, but I'm definitely not young. And I've said earlier that I think I got some city miles on me. I've been through a few things. I've rocked a few faces. So if you're in a conundrum, then ask away, and maybe I can help you. Maybe I can't. We'll see how it goes. I'm not a doctor. If you would like to ask a question not tied to your social media or your screen name or anything, then you can go to JeremyInternational.com. There's a contact form there. I'll read the question out loud. I won't share any identifying information about you. If you're enjoying the show, if I help you out in some way, or if you're just having a good time, if you want to throw a couple bucks my way, no pressure. If you don't, you can go to JeremyInternational.com. There's links to PayPal and what's the other one? Venmo there. Not necessarily doing this for the money. Not doing it for the money, if you know what I mean. But waiting for the second segment, Eichel. Wait away. And also, if no one needs to ask any questions if you don't want to. I got some questions I stole from other places on the internet that I can read out loud. But I'm here for you. I like to help people. Most of the jobs I've had in my life have been around helping people. And like I was saying, I don't have a job right now, so I don't have as much of an easy way to help folks. But this is maybe a way that I can. I think that I've helped some people in the past. I know a thing or two. So hopefully I can. Should I do another 2 minutes of this game? I can't imagine I'm going to make it more. I am so shocked and disappointed about how not far I'm getting in this, but it looks so good. And I've played this game before and I've gotten quite a bit further. It's just your timing and your precision is really important, and it's hard for me to do that and then also keep an eye on the chat. But I want to keep an eye on the chat because that's why I'm doing this. Let's just go around the horn. Everyone's good on there. Everyone's good on Facebook. Can I see how many people are watching on Facebook? Does that work that way? One person is. It might be me. Oh, now no one is on Facebook. What about YouTube? Who's watching on YouTube? One person's watching on YouTube. That could be me. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, can you just give me like a little hi or a little like I don't know, like a 8 and then the dashes and then the greater than sign, just something so I know that people are out there. But it seems like it's happening on Twitch at the moment, and it's so nice. It's so nice that people are here. Thanks for coming by. Okay, one more take on Out of This World, and then I'm giving up for the night. Probably gonna play this next week. Although maybe I'll find something else. If there's a game you'd like to see me play, keep in mind that it should be a game that's not. It should be a game that's not. Doesn't have to take a lot of constant attention. Can I just stomp? Stomp. This is how you do it. Oh god. Stomp, stomp. I did it. I did it. Okay, so watch. Here comes the monster. Here's the beast. And then I gotta go the other way. And I gotta leap, leap. And he ate me. Okay. I think we're done with Out of This World for tonight. So I'm gonna take 10. And then when we come back, we'll have our special guest, Linsay Deming. We'll catch up. We'll talk. She's got some stuff to share. I got some stuff to share. Hopefully some of you have some stuff to share, but no pressure. And we'll see how it goes. See you guys in 10 minutes. And we're back, everybody. Hello, welcome back to the stream. I have with me here our special guest, Linsay Deming. We go way back. We go way
Way
back,
back.
right?
I think a whole decade we go
Jeez,
back, which
yeah.
is insane.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, 10 years seems like a long time. Um, before we get into it too much, I'll just make another little plug here. We are, this is the advice stream. I'm Jeremy International. We just spent our first hour playing Out of This World for the Sega Genesis very badly. And so now we're gonna not do that anymore because I was getting bored and frustrated too. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitch, we're live on Facebook. We are live on JeremyInternational.com, spelled just like it sounds. And if you'd like to participate in the chat, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch is where you should do that. And please participate, at least say hi. I'll say hi back, I promise. If you're seeking
Say hi.
say hi. Why not? It's 2 letters. It doesn't cost you anything. If you'd like to ask questions for advice, you can put it in the chat on any of those places I just mentioned if you want to. If you'd rather keep it a little bit further connected from your social media platforms, you can go to JeremyInternational.com. There's a contact form there. Hypothetically, I get those messages right away, but it's no one's ever done it before. But maybe today
And for
will be the
that,
day.
you only have to put in your email address, which is
Yeah.
like way less connected to you than
I
your
might ask
social
for your
media.
phone number, but I promise I'll only text once a day. I'm not gonna ask for your phone number, and I don't know what I would do with your email address. Even it's not like I have anything to do it with. Cool. I'll share some highlights from the chat because I'm assuming you're not seeing the chat through.
I can see the chat.
Okay, good.
Fred Undead just said hello.
Yeah, there you go.
Fred.
OMG, Fred Undead. Cool. All right. Well, hi, Linsay. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm refreshed. I took a cute little evening nap
Nice.
for this.
The old disco nap. I'm a big fan of those as well. Do you get like a whole hour? Or is it more like 45?
Basically a whole hour, and
Nice.
there was a puddle of drool on my pillow when I woke up, so I was out.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad you did that. You gotta take care of yourself. Do you want to share with the audience at home any information about your current medical status? Is that something we can talk about today? Is that not any? I mean, it's definitely not anybody else's business.
Twitch is protected by HIPAA, right?
HIPAA is only about you and your boss and your doctor. That's the only thing HIPAA has anything to deal with. I think anything else we share.
Oh.
Yeah, HIPAA only says that your doctor can't talk to your boss, but they can talk to anybody else. They just can't talk to your boss, right? Isn't that what it says?
I don't think that's the only thing that HIPAA says.
Not only am I not a doctor, I'm also not a lawyer. So don't.
Well, listen. If the people watching the stream agree to only keep my medical information between us and the entire internet, I'm happy to share.
Okay.
Yeah. So
can we all agree to that?
Yeah. Can we all agree to that?
Thanks, everybody.
Jeremy's alluding to the fact that I am with child, which is why I had to take a nap at 6 p.m.
Is that why I have to take a nap every day? Is maybe I'm with child?
Hey, you don't have to disclose. You haven't consented to sharing your HIPAA stuff.
Yeah, that's true. If I start sharing personal medical information, we're gonna need a longer stream, I think.
That's another stream.
That's another stream. Personal medical information with Jeremy International. So how are you feeling?
Good. I'm in the 3rd trimester now, so I'm getting some fatigue happening midday. So just more naps, more like waking up in the middle of the night to like use the bathroom, or like anxiety, insomnia, because I'm realizing every day I'm closer to like having a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I mean, you did it. So
well, I didn't carry or grow the kid. But like that idea to me.
But you have a kid.
We have a kid. we've had a kid for almost 3 years. This kid has been uh, in our life, in our house, both of those things. To me, it seems like if I was the person that could actually have a baby, getting closer to that due date seems like that would be a big uh, anxiety thing that I don't think I can relate to as a person. I mean, I was stressed about like we're gonna bring the kid home and we have to figure out how to change diapers. And we have to have all of the stuff, like all of the kid stuff. That was stressful, but that was it. I didn't have to think about like uh, I have to push this kid out of my body. Like that to me seems like it's. I hope I'm not like triggering you now. That to me seems like it's
No,
kind of scary.
no.
That's a scary thing.
Yeah, because it's like this kid is coming out one way or another.
Yeah.
Like someone's gonna pull it out, I'm gonna have to put it out. Someone might have to yank it out. There
Yeah.
might be some yanking.
There's
I mean,
yanking. Hopefully not, but sometimes they gotta cut it out. That's like, that's a whole other situation.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, it's some way, shape, or form they're coming out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some anxiety around that, but it's more actually the like, I'm more worried about the dad stuff. I feel more like resonant with your
That's weird.
concerns postpartum.
Yeah.
I'm like not that worried about the birth. I'm more worried about like how like you're gonna have a thing that's like this big and you're gonna have to like keep them alive.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird. I think that was the thing I was most scared about too. But then like when the kid comes, you're in it and it's just like nonstop and you get used to it really fast. And all of the things that were scary to me, like I never held a little baby. I never changed a diaper. I never had to figure out like feeding and bottles and all of that stuff. But you have to do it nonstop uh, for months. And so you
I
get
guess you
used
get a
to it
lot of
really.
chances.
You get a lot of practice fast. And so that the sort of thing, I feel kind of the same way like when I get on an airplane, like the airport scares me. But once you're in the airplane and they close the door, there's nothing to do. You just sit there. Like you get into like, oh, I'm mixing up my analogies here, but you kind of get into autopilot because what is expected of you is clear, and you just need to do it. But getting to that point is scary. But when you're there, it happens, and it gets less scary really fast, I would say.
That is such great advice.
Thanks. Well, it's
What is
the
this, an
advice stream.
advice show
Yeah,
or what?
I know. It's the advice stream. Uh, yeah, kids are crazy. Our kid is 2.5, and so is like slowly becoming like a person, and that is a whole other uh kind of stress and terror that I also just like.
Because you don't like her very much.
I mean, sometimes she
You
doesn't like
you
me
wouldn't
a
sit
lot of
next
the
to her at
time.
lunch.
I always like her very much, but her opinion about me fluctuates dramatically. Anyways, so kids, just as another reminder to anyone, if anyone has questions about parenthood or pregnancy, we'll do our best. I think that, between Linsay and me, we will probably answer those questions in a relatively informed way. I'll also make a little plug. I have if you go to JeremyInternational.com, there's a link there to a podcast that's on a little bit of a hiatus that I do with another new dad. His name's Chris. It's called Tech Dad Radio. We do technology reviews and new parent advice. It's been a few months since we've done an episode of that, but we'll be back soon. So that's another part of the Jeremy International umbrella, Tech Dad Radio. I like to keep busy. What else is going on, Linsay? Do you have something? One of the things I always ask people for when they're on the show is if there's a piece of advice that you've gotten or that you have to give that you think is particularly valuable or dumb or terrible advice or silly, a piece of advice that just kind of sticks with you. What you got?
Well, you know what's so funny is the piece of advice that I wanted to bring here, like, is kind of similar to the advice that you just gave me. So I don't want you to think I'm copying
That's
you and like I
fine.
just came up with
I
this and
trust
didn't
you.
prepare. But like this pregnancy has taught me a lot about life.
Hmm. Like
And the
biologically.
beginning, yeah, that's yeah, just basic bio.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything.
That's a lot of
Um,
people get pregnant that way.
it's very true. But like, there's a lot of points, especially in early pregnancy, where there's a lot to be like nervous about or concerned about. Um, there's a high risk of miscarriage, and trigger warning. Sorry, I should have said that first before I said that word. There's risk of loss. There's risk of maybe a genetic anomaly, or
Yeah.
there's just all sorts of things happening. You don't feel well. So there's like anxiety surrounding the whole thing. And if you're a first timer, it's like very new and scary. And I found myself getting like really worked up with all the what ifs.
Yeah.
And, kind of going down some rabbit holes of like, what could like kind of worst case scenario stuff. And I found myself sort of becoming overwhelmed by the anxiety of it. And thankfully, I've been very lucky that, none of that stuff has even come close to being remotely true. But
Yeah.
like, what I've learned is like, there's no point in worrying. Like, you have to just, like you were talking about, like going to autopilot, like you have to surrender to things that are out of your control, or else you're going to do more damage than is worth.
Yeah.
So like I've sort of like I learned that lesson kind of early on, like in the first trimester. So I've spent the last bit, maybe the last 20 weeks or so, just being like, everything's going to be fine, and if it's not, we'll figure it out when
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah.
And even though I do feel a little bit of anxiety creeping in about actually having the baby, I really feel like I'm approaching it with that mentality of just like, don't worry about it. Like, what's going to happen is going to happen, and you'll deal with it then. There's no point in dealing with it now.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet. So I feel like that, and I've applied that to other areas of my life, at work or in my, personal passion projects and things like that.
Uh-huh.
So it's not really that funny of a piece of advice, but it's more like serious. Like, worry about it when the thing happens. Don't worry about it before. It's not going to help you.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And I think, in there's some instances in life, especially when you're about to go through something that's particularly challenging, where the expectations of you are clear. You've got medical professionals that are telling you what to do. And we're fortunate enough that we live in a country where at least a lot of people have access to that. So you know what you need to do. You just need to make sure that you do those things, and then you're done. That's your job. When
Yeah.
Not that that pregnancy is like an illness. It's not, but it's a similar type of sometimes medical journey. Lots of doctor's appointments, lots of people telling you what to do. When I've been through like my various uh, medical health adventures, that's the way that I deal with my anxiety. Is I just there are people that have my best interest in mind. I sure hope they do. I trust them that they do, and I just do what they're telling me. I'm following orders. I call this being the passenger. I become the passenger in my life. That everybody, I go where I show up when I'm supposed to show up. I take the pill I'm supposed to take. I drink the liquid I'm supposed to drink, and then that's it. There's no point in worrying. There's no point
That's
in
pretty
stressing
much
out about
exactly
it.
like what pregnancy
Yeah.
is. You take the pill, you drink the liquid, you show up.
You show up. And sometimes that's all you can do, is you have to become the passenger, because if you're worrying about what happens if this happens, what happens if that happens, you're going to make yourself a new type of sick from that. and there's
Yeah.
no point to it, and it's not an easy thing to do.
No,
But
it's so hard.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
Start Rec is chatting, and I just want to say
Start Rec
thank
is
you for
someone
the
that you
congrats.
Start Rec is someone that you know. I'm not going to mention their name out loud because I don't think they want that.
Well, Start Rec, just keep the secret between us and the internet, okay?
Yeah, don't tell anybody else except for the 6 people watching. Uh, uh, lots of things are going on. Anyways, we'll just move along from all of that information. Yeah, that's advice I wish I had started to take earlier in my life. Is just to surround yourself with people that you trust, and then sometimes you just have to do what they tell you you're supposed to do, because you can't. You're not the person that should be stressed out right now, I guess. How's your husband faring? Is he also, because I at this stage I was pretty stressed out as well, but I was doing my best.
Well, if he's going through anything, he's doing a good job of like shielding it from
Uh huh.
me. He had his own moments early on, kind of like, oh, I think like I'm going through what he went through early on, like, oh my God, we're gonna be parents. This is
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
change our lives.
yeah.
um, and now he's just like rolling with it, like he's reading a book called The Birth Partner, and it's all about like supporting your spouse
Yeah,
through
yeah.
pregnancy and labor, and he's like putting bookmarks in it and taking notes. He's like taking it so seriously, and it just like warms my heart. He's been amazingly supportive. Like, I don't even do the dishes anymore.
Good.
Like, if he sees me carrying anything, he's like, let me get that
Because
for
you're you're
you. Like,
you're
I feel
building a human being, so I think that it's reasonable for him to do all of the dishes. I think that's fair.
it is.
Yeah,
It is. But like some days, like I don't really even feel pregnant. So like I'm like, what? I'm just carrying the laundry up the stairs. And he's like, no,
yeah.
no. Um, so like what's going on in his heart? I think I know. I think he's like excited and nervous and all the things, but like he could be hiding like a profound fear that that he's keeping
Well,
from
also
me.
though, then good for him for not making that fear another part of your responsibility, because that's I you mentioned that he's reading a book, and I think for me that was a really my dad did was a great dad and did the best that he could do considering the time he was from and the resources that he had. But we live in really different times. I'm in my mid 40s, so this was in the 70s, when my mom was pregnant with me. We live in different times now, and there's different expectations from all of us. And I'm not sure that I necessarily had a strong role model of the type of father I wanted to be. So
Your dad's not watching this right now, is he?
I don't think so. But
Okay, God.
if
Thank God.
no, I think he was great. I think he was a great dad. I love my dad. I had a great childhood, but it was a different time. Things were different then, and he worked all the
Yeah.
time. His job was going to work, and he worked constantly. I don't have a job at all, so my life is very different than that. Hopefully that won't be for too much longer. But so I found reading a lot of books. I'm sure I could think of a couple of them off the top of my head if you gave me a minute. But reading books about like what it means to be the partner of a person that's about to give birth, and in those early days and weeks and months, I think is really valuable. If you're out there listening and you are thinking about, or you and your partner are thinking about, if you're not the one that's going to be making and delivering the baby, especially if we're raised as a male style person, read some books. I think is a good piece of advice, because that's helpful. It was helpful for me, for sure.
Yeah, I love that books can replace like help undo like all of like what the patriarchy has,
Yeah,
not all of, but some
I
of
mean
the
the right
unraveling.
books
Like
could
we
do it
can
all.
skip yeah,
You
we
just got
can
to read them.
skip a few generations ahead like just by reading some
Yeah.
books.
That
I
was
do
super
want to
valuable to
comment
me.
on a. Oh, sorry. What's that? I wanted to comment on a commenter that said my husband's probably dealing with it with his overhead projectors. And in addition to the books, that is 100% true. His office is filled with like video synthesizers and like all sorts of crazy video stuff. And he streams on Twitch every Friday night with his brother,
What?
Goinkler Supreme.
I
If you
didn't
want
know
to
that.
check
I
out
gotta
some of
check that
the
one out. That's
work
cool.
he's doing. They like, yeah, they collab. His brother is a musician, they jam, and then Ted like does like crazy like video synth
All
stuff
right,
with
I
like
gotta check that out.
Liquid and
Oh, yeah, that I've seen before.
um
That's always wonderful. That's a good show.
yeah. But anyway, I think that's so great that uh that you did that. I feel so lucky to like be surrounded by men in my life that like do that sort of thing,
Yeah.
because I'm on a lot of forums, like pregnancy forums. They're called bump groups. Okay, you're in a bump group with people. I hate it. I
Yeah,
hate it.
yeah.
But I also love it. It's like people who have the same due month as you. So like I'm in the May bump group. I hate that, but whatever. It is what it is. But there's like a lot of bad partners out there who do not support their spouses, who
Yeah.
like they're like mad that their like wife doesn't like make them lunch and dinner anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Part of the origin for this stream is I've gotten in the habit of reading a lot of advice columns on the internet. And there's so many where it's like the guy's like, yeah, and I helped my wife raise the kids. I'm like, you're not helping. You're not an assistant in this. You're a co-parent. No one's helping anybody. You're doing 50% of the job because
It's wild.
because the kid is 50% yours. That blows my mind when people say that I was helping.
I know.
That's
There
not
was
what helping
one
means.
story, I can't even remember what it was, but somebody's partner like told them to like quit yelling during labor, and then after like labor was like, you were mean to me during like labor.
Like, haven't you ever seen a comedy about someone giving birth? That's what they do.
Yeah.
They crush your hand and then they yell, and then there's like the scene where they've got like horns and there's fire behind their head. That's every movie does that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's so exhausting to look at that. To look at that kind of stuff on the internet, but that's what I do. Do you want to I don't think we've gotten any questions in yet, so I got one.
Yeah,
do you
let's
want?
do it.
I'll read a question. I'm not going to say where I got it from the internet, because I don't know if I'm allowed to do this or not. But I'm going to read a question out loud and we'll discuss. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. And this is about being a parent, by the way. I didn't plan it. I picked these for last week. I had such great participation last week. I never got into these. All right, here we go. My brother-in-law and his male partner keep buying my daughter gifts, which is wonderful. She is the only child on my husband's side of the family, and they love doting on her. This is theoretically great. The problem is we live in a small house, and we don't have enough room for all of the things they keep sending her. Both my husband and I tried to talk to them, asking them to stop buying her so much, but the brother-in-law and partner just laughed and didn't take us seriously. I'm glad they love her, and I'm glad they want to do nice things for her, but it's getting out of hand, and I don't know what to do. My husband has suggested telling them to buy her savings bonds, and also I've thought about suggesting adventures. Though she's such a mama's girl, she probably won't go without me. Please help. So we gotta.
I think the husband's savings bond thing was spot on.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I'll tell you, we created a savings account, a college savings account for our kid, and they create a little link that you can paste wherever you want it to go, where people click the link and it's like, give to this kid's college fund, and they make it super easy. We do that. I will tell you that we still get a lot of physical things bought because our kid's an only kid, and on my wife's side is really the only kid. And on my family side is the only girl and the only really young kid. So we get so much stuff. We haven't really gotten to the point where we've told people to stop, or we've asked people to stop, but we're getting there soon
But your
because we're
house is
running out of
big enough.
space.
Your house is big enough.
We have space, but also like I just neither of us like a lot of clutter. Or if we like clutter, we like our own clutter. And there's
Yeah,
only
I'm like looking right behind you, and I'm like, there's some.
this is all very organized and curated. Thank you. But it's really easy to create, you know, depending on what state you live in, you should look at the rules. But it's really easy to create savings accounts like that and create in
Yeah, but
most.
specifically bonds, savings bonds
Yeah.
is what this guy wants.
I mean, that works, I guess. I don't know what the difference between that and having like a college fund would be. I know with the college fund, it's like if we pull money out of it early, we get taxed really heavily or something.
Yeah.
But we
And I think a savings bond is something similar. Like you have to wait X number of years
Yeah.
before it matures or whatever.
whatever. But we made sure that we set it up in a way where if she decides she doesn't want to go to college, then she can get almost all of it out and not have to pay a lot if she wants to do something else with it. We did set it up that way, but she has to, you know, obviously be an adult at that point. Because, you know, not everybody needs to go to college.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a tricky dilemma because some people, this asker is in because some people like their love language. I don't know if I believe in that or not, but like that's how they show they love someone is like through material things like that. My mom is one of those people. Like she's already sent me so much baby stuff for the baby.
Yeah.
Not like so much, but you know, the trend is starting.
Yeah. My mom is similar. We've hardly ever bought clothes for our kid. If we ever need clothes, I can just kind of acknowledge to my mom, you know, she's getting a little too big for pajamas, and then the next day there'll be like 20 pairs of pajamas in the mail, which is wonderful. I love that. And like my mom has figured out our style and what our kid's style, because she's old enough now that she's starting to develop her own ridiculous style, and she nails it every time. She always gets perfect clothes.
That's like incredible. These gifts sound like I'm guessing they're getting like maybe like a Fisher Price thing that's kind of big and bulky, and they have a small house, and like it's impolite to reject a gift.
Yeah,
you know.
But it's worse when you say, "Hey, slow down on the gifts," and they're like, "No," and they laugh. Like that's so you need to listen to what people are telling you and have some respect.
Yeah, I mean, this is like what we call like you tried to establish a boundary and somebody like laughed at your boundary.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would just say you'd have to have another more serious conversation. And yeah, you could suggest the savings account. I don't know if a bond, but I like what y'all are doing. Like or the adventures thing is good, because what I think that's not like putting money into a savings account like isn't fun for the uncles. And you know, they just want to like do something fun. Like that's how they're like physically connecting with their niece.
Yeah.
So like if they want to keep physically connecting with their niece, then like, I don't know, they should just try to brainstorm some other ways of doing that don't involve physical items. Also that were probably like made of like toxic materials. And like
it's all plastic. Yeah, I agree with that too. And I'd also like, you know, if I was able to address the person that wrote this letter, I'd also want to ask them how did you have this conversation with your brother-in-law? Because so many people just aren't able to be direct. Like, were they like, thanks so much, that's great, you know, we're running out of space, ha ha ha, because no one's going to take that kind of comment seriously. But if they're like, please don't do this anymore, I'm asking you to just not, we're running out of space, it's really generous, that's great, buy your little things, buy your adventures, put money in her
buy her savings bonds.
Buy her savings bonds. When you buy I don't even know, when you get a savings bond, do you actually get it? Is it a document? Because that takes up space.
I think you do.
Yeah.
That does, and then you have to frame it, and then you have to put it on the wall, and
right.
how much wall
you gotta
space
gotta
like,
get
you
a safety deposit
frame.
box. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I think these uncles, maybe the solution is just disown the uncles, like cut them out of your life, go no contact.
Disconnect. That's fine. This is an unforgivable crime that they did. Fred Undead says that I was banned from my due date group. LOL.
Okay, I'm gonna want to know that story.
I knew that because of the nature of my relationship with Fred Undead. But if anybody didn't know that but knows Fred Undead, then you probably knew it, because that's on brand.
It's so on brand.
It's very on brand. Let's see if we got any other questions. I'll take, because we've been talking for a little bit now, so I'll do another little update for everybody. If you're just joining the show, this is the advice stream. I'm Jeremy International. This is my guest, Linsay Deming. How would you identify yourself? Like, what do you say that you do? Because I would say Linsay Deming, comedian, filmmaker is what I would say. Musician.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so
comedian,
generous.
filmmaker.
I'd be like funny content producer.
This is our guest in the second hour, Linsay Deming, funny content producer. Linsay and I, by the way, go way back. We did, and maybe someday we'll do again, a show called Church Night. There's links at JeremyInternational.com for everything Church Night ever did, if you want to check that out. We're live currently. The advice stream is live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. If you have questions, if you'd like to seek advice from either/both of us, throw it in the chat if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. If you would like to have your question be separated from your social media information, you can go to JeremyInternational.com, and there's a contact form there, which I hopefully get right away. I've never actually tested it out before. And I'll read your question out loud, but I won't share any identifying information about you. Going back to why Fred Undead was banned from her due date group, she says, they got mad because I said there's no evidence supporting smoking weed while pregnant, and I was ruining their vibe or whatever. Yeah, that's about right.
What due date group were you in? Oh my God. I've never even heard of it. Like, the due date groups I'm in are like so stringent about like anything. They're like, you ate a piece of sushi, like your baby's
you should go to jail.
Yeah, your baby's going to jail.
Your baby is going to be a fish.
That is insane. And maybe a due date group, maybe they did you a favor.
Yeah.
So those are not people I would want to.
I would say of all of the online groups that OMG Fred and Dead has been kicked out of, every one of them did her a favor. Okay, so this is the part arbitrarily I've decided in the show where we talk about things that make us happy, things that we're into, things that we're enjoying right now. I'll let you go first. And just so that you know, if you're seeing the live stream, when you start talking about it, I'm going to bring up a picture of the thing, and it's going to kind of block us for a few minutes. But everyone will still hear us because the internet works. You don't have to see someone to hear them. I don't know why I'm explaining that. But go ahead, you go first.
The basics of video editing. Yeah. So I want to talk about Gordon Ramsay for a second because, listen, I know Gordon Ramsay's somewhat of a problematic chef. Like I feel like Gordon Ramsay was like, people were talking smack on him after the pandemic because all the restaurants that were like going under, and they're like, there needs to be like a change in like restaurant culture, and this whole militant chef thing like shouldn't be around anymore. And I do agree with that, but like it makes for really good TV. And so I just finished the latest season of Hell's Kitchen. He immediately, the Sunday after after Hell's Kitchen was the Hell's Kitchen finale, he released his new show, Next Level Chef, where chefs compete on 3 different levels of kitchen, like stacked on top of each other. So like the top kitchen is like the good one, and the basement kitchen is really bad and has bad
do like
tools.
there's scraps, like if they're like chopping an onion, does like the onion skin settle, like does it fall down through the layers?
They can throw things down
Oh
because
my
there's a
God.
platform that like there's like an elevator platform that like takes the food down to all the kitchen.
Wow.
It's the most ridiculous show,
Yes.
but it's Gordon Ramsay, so I'm gonna watch it. And I love Gordon Ramsay. So I came across a post on Reddit tonight. That's because I'm in the Hell's Kitchen subreddit.
Of
Okay, if you're
course.
not already
Why
in
wouldn't you be?
it. And the question is, what is your favorite elimination comment from Gordon Ramsay after a contestant gets eliminated? So when he eliminates someone, they're walking off and they're sad. They're walking down the hallway, and Gordon gets like to make a quippy comment to the camera. So some of them are really good. So can I just read some?
Please, please.
Okay, so season 12, Michael, whose last name I think is DeMarco, got kicked off. And Gordon Ramsay says, DeMarco, demented, demoted, denied. Okay, ridiculous.
The idea that your personal brand is being unkind to people, like that's a career. He's done very well with it, and it's good for him, I guess.
But then if you watch like MasterChef Junior, other shows, like he's not.
Okay.
Like
He's not mean to
it's
the
like
kids, is what you're saying.
no, he's like so nice to the kids.
Good.
And even like you can tell it's an act. I'm just gonna say Gordon Ramsay's obviously like a really great guy, and this is just his TV personality. Okay, here's another good one. They say good things come in small packages, but unfortunately, in Gina's case, her talent matched her size. Tiny. Okay, like and I'm almost positive he comes with these on the spot.
Do you think he has a team that writes these, or do you think he's able to do it on his own?
I feel like he does it on his own because I watch some of his live streams and I'm like, this man can talk. Like he's got it.
He's like the Don Rickles of cooking.
He is. He totally is. Okay, I'm gonna read at least one more. This is someone named Michael that got kicked off. He says, fortunately for Michael, he can go back to his job at the nursing home. Unfortunately for the residents, it's as their chef. Such a burn. So they're just so good and weird.
And they're so like specific. Like they're all like reference. He's not just saying like you're a bad chef. He's like, I know your life and I've tied it together. I know your story and I've tied how I want to be mean to you just to make it extra personal.
Oh my gosh, what would mine be? Like he'd have to reference my pregnancy or something.
He'd be like, I know you're good at making a baby, but making fried rice isn't something you can do.
Yeah. She may have a bun in the oven, and that's the only thing she should be putting in an oven.
That's pretty good. I got my, I do scrambled eggs. I think the Gordon Ramsay way. I think I saw a video of him doing scrambled eggs. That's how I make scrambled eggs now. You do it in a pot, not a skillet. It has to be in a pot. And then you don't put anything in it.
Don't you like take it off?
You take it off and you have to keep doing it. Like I break a sweat scrambling eggs. You can't stop them moving. Take it off the heat, scramble it, put it back on the heat. You go back and forth. And we just got a question. And I got a notification on my phone, so I know it works. Thanks for testing it out. Okay, do we want to read our question? Before we read our question, hold on. I want to do the thing since we're talking about no problem, Eichel. I will go ahead. I guess we're not keeping it a secret that the question we're going to read is coming from Eichel. Questions are questions. We're here to help you. If it took a long time for you to ask, that's totally fine. I'm going to share my thing, and I just want to say, really quickly about the thing I'm going to share. This time of year, it's cold and it's gray and it's rainy, and I feel myself being really tired and exhausted and just not wanting to do a whole lot. Do you know about spoon theory? Have you ever heard of that before about spoons, losing spoons and gaining spoons?
Yes, my therapist talked to me
Yeah,
about that. Like some days you only have a couple spoons.
I learned that from my from my therapist too.
Okay,
But
what? That's what they go to school and they're like, today we're talking about
about the spoons.
spoons.
Tell them about the spoons. It'll make them feel better. Uh, you wake up in the morning. Everybody's got a set number of spoons. Getting out of bed costs a spoon. Brushing your teeth costs some number of spoons. Going to work, doing whatever you have to do costs spoons. And when you're out of spoons, then it starts to get really hard to do anything. And some days you wake up with more spoons. Some days you wake up with less. People that have disabilities or are neurodivergent or are growing a human being inside their body might find themselves waking up with not a lot of spoons sometimes. But the thing is you can get spoons back. This is the my
My
big
therapist did
learn.
not tell me
You
that
can
you could get
generate
spoons
spoons on
back.
your own. And one of the ways you can do that is by doing something that gives you joy, that makes you excited. And my guaranteed, I promise you, I'm not a doctor, way that you can get spoons back is with the 1982 album Breakout by the Pointer Sisters. This album always works to get me spoons back, and I cannot recommend it. This whole album is perfect. It's wonderful. It's fun. And if you're feeling like you're dragging and you don't have a lot of spoons, put on Breakout by the Pointer Sisters. It will get you some spoons. Might not get you a lot, depends on what you're going through that day. But it'll get you a couple at least. Highly recommend Breakout Pointer Sisters
I'm
1982.
so glad you didn't say exercise. I would have been
No,
so mad if you
no.
were like,
Yeah.
go on a
You're
walk.
exhausted. Do something that takes even more energy. That'll fix it. I sit down, get comfy. If you got some good headphones, break out 1982, the Pointer Sisters. One of my faves. One of them passed away recently, but I don't remember one of the sisters. But man, that's a fun album. It always jazzes me up. Okay, let's read Eichel's question. Are we all ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Um, that's not too long. I think this is about as long as the one about the brother-in-law that stopped giving people gifts. So here's the question. I'm sorry, Eichel. Exercise does work sometimes, but you gotta. Exercise is one of those things where you gotta spend spoons to make spoons, and if you don't have spend spoons to spend, exercise can be hard. I agree, though. Exercise is wonderful. I trying really hard to exercise more because I have very few spoons these days. Here's the question. So a while ago, I am male 24, went on my first Tinder date with someone female 27, and I didn't really know what to expect, but it went very well. We went on a couple of dates that were meant to be casual hookups, but we ended up getting to kind of know each other as you do. Since then, I followed her meme page, and I've just been sending, everyone's got meme pages, and I've just been sending her memes every once in a while, messaging every now and then. I was always open to the idea of maybe taking things more seriously, but considered the nature of the hookup thing on Tinder. I decided not to pursue it. Interesting. Recently, she posted a song she had written with a description that suggested she caught feelings with a Tinder hookup, and I somewhat resonated with our date. But it's equally possible it's not my ass she's talking about, and it's one of her other Tinder hookups, of which she had plenty. Good for her. I'm not sure. Good for everybody in this situation. I'm not sure if I'm being egocentric about the song or whatever, but my question is whether or not I should just go be forward and ask if it's me she's talking about, or if it's better to just kind of live without knowing. Worse yet, even if it is about me and I'm being self centered, I read that she's moving from where she's at right now, so it's not like we could start dating. So, do I even bother asking or just shrug and say, that's life? I will feel bad if she says it was someone else. And even worse if it's about me and she's moving away. So, I don't know what to do. Regardless, I feel like I can cancel out the resulting feelings with the fact that the first time I The first time I ate out coochie. Thanks for being no swear words there. We acknowledge the existence of sex on the advice stream. The first time I ate out coochie, it was hers, and I did it so well she gave me a literal high five. Good for you. And I'll be able to hold that W and say that forever. Hell, I might
Heck
even
yeah.
put it on my tombstone. An emotional net zero, I guess. Would love to hear your thoughts.
I'm not sure I wanted that to be
Wait, I didn't get that. Say that again.
named. I'm not sure they wanted that to be named as the author of that.
I hope. Oh God, did I screw up? Did I ruin everything? I can take this down from the internet if that's a problem. You were saying that you were going to send a message, and then you said you sent it. So I was assuming that you wanted, because how else would people know?
It's okay. It's okay.
It was okay. I don't know how to do that. Oh my God. I didn't know how to do that without it being obvious, because you said you were going to send it, and then you sent it, and then I read it.
It was just kind of intimate. Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
I just,
sure.
Just wanted to make sure that was okay.
First thing I'll say is people should be more open about their sexual and intimate lives. I think a lot of people suffer from other people not sharing what they've experienced and what they've been through, because sex is something maybe not everyone, but almost everyone experiences. And so to be open about it, first off, takes courage, but also I think is really valuable for the person sharing, but also for everyone hearing, because these are conversations and things that people need to know about, because I think your experience here isn't necessarily unique. It's very valid and real for you. But I think it's a worthwhile conversation for us to have. I think this is actually a really good conversation for us to have as a community here on the advice stream. Do you have any?
This is a great question.
I agree that it is. Do you have any takes on this, Linz? Do you want to share anything?
Well, I think, like, if I could boil down what I think the question is, it seems like it's a bit of, mostly curiosity. Is this song about me? Is what I think this question boils down to, because, even if you were catching feelings or maybe wanted to pursue something more, that it's not really a possibility because your Tinder date is moving away. So that's not really necessarily maybe where you wanted to take this. So to me, it's about, like, is this song about me, right? Isn't that what the question is?
I think that it's about whether they should ask if the song is about them.
Yeah.
And then what they should do, if anything, with that information.
Well, I'll say, as a songwriter who wrote a lot of songs when I was 23, 24, 25, about things like sex. A lot of times the songs that I wrote were about amalgamations of people. So like I might be writing lyric or verse 1 about somebody, and then verse 2 might have kind of been about someone else, or even a fantasy or an imagination. So I would bet that you were a part of that song.
Interesting. That's a good take.
Yeah, but you might not be the only person it's about. And I also think sometimes we assume other people are having a lot more sex and hookups than they actually are.
Almost always.
Yeah. Almost always. Like, you probably, like, hold this person to, like, a high standard because you had such a great time with them, but, like, they're probably not out there, like, maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're probably not out there getting their rocks off, like, every single weekend or, whatever, with random new people all the time. Like, that's exhausting. I mean, I guess maybe they're in their mid-20s, so you can keep up with a lot more than someone my age, but still. So I would say you probably are in a part of that song, but if it's going to make you feel bad to hear it's not you, then maybe don't ask. Because if it's not, then you're just going to feel bad. And if it is, then what?
Yeah. Uh,
Oh,
my
also a she.
yeah.
Okay. I just like to use gender neutral pronouns because I never want to assume someone's gender identity.
My take on this, I guess, I think it's interesting. People, I think everyone, including me, including everyone in the world, tend to make sex complicated in ways that should be simple, and simple in ways that maybe it should be more complicated. And the idea of being anxious about asking a directed question to this person who you've been very intimate with, like one of the most intimate ways two people can be together. You've had your face in their parts. Good for both of you. That's a wonderful, beautiful thing to do. But the fact that after having had that kind of experience, that you're concerned about asking a directed question, I think is interesting. That I'm not saying this is unique to you. I'm not saying it's unique to that problem. I think this is one of the things people do. Is you've already had a really profound, even if it was just like a hookup, a one night stand, that was great, see you never, even if that's what it is, that's still a profound human connection. It might not be profound in the way that like conceiving a child on purpose with someone is, but it's a profound human connection. And I would hope that if we think about this a little bit more, being confident to ask them a direct question, hey, I heard that song, it was really great. Is there any part of that that's about me? I think should be an easy question to ask a person that you've had this kind of connection with. Now, whether you should ask or not depends, I guess, on whether you want to hear the answer. You should never ask someone a question if you're not prepared to hear the opposite answer that you're hoping for. But also, like what you were saying, Linz, the answer to that question might not be yes or no. It could be somewhere in between. If it was me, I would want to know. And if it was me, I would want to know where I stood with this person. They're moving away. Maybe you'll never see them again, but I would want to know at least where I stood with them otherwise. Uh, I'm a big fan uh, of the idea that you have to be willing to lose big if you want to win big when it comes to love. And love can mean a lot of things. Love might just mean having a one night thing with a person and never seeing them again. Love might mean dating someone for 6 months or 6 years or being married for 60 years to somebody. Love means a lot of different things. I think love is a really tricky word because we use it to describe a lot of very different types of connections with people. But you got to put yourself out there. You got to risk, just like herpes. You have to have your heart broken several times. If you haven't had your heart broken, if you haven't broken someone's heart a couple times by the time you're 30, you're probably playing it too safe. I say go for it. Ask the question. Be prepared to get the answer you don't want, but also the answer might not be yes or no. And if this person moves away and you never see them again, but you have this like forlorn missing of them or what could have been, uh, then that's good. That's good for you. It builds character. And it'll make you a more mature person when you meet the next person that you have this type of connection with. So
Yeah.
I say do it. I say go for it and be ready to get hurt. That's what life is. I wish I could tell you that life isn't about pain in all of the different ways, whether it's physical or emotional, but it is. But that's the price of admission. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're not a person.
Yeah. You've got three options. You've got three outcomes. It's a yes, which you say here is, worse because of the potential. If it's no, it's bad for some reasons. I'm assuming, I don't know, whatever. But the third option is you're wondering. You're left wondering. Or there's the gray area option, but it's like, are you comfortable with wondering forever as well?
Yeah, and
Are you?
we're getting a lot of comments here from the letter writer, and I hope I haven't ruined this. I really thought that you were okay with me reading it out loud. I feel horrible if that was the case, I guess I should have clarified that. Lesson learned for me in the future. So Eichel's saying that, let's see, we got a few things. The person
Eichel clarified everyone's gender.
Yeah, so we did that. That's always valuable. Thank you for saying, Eichel, that it's okay that I read it out loud. I as this show goes on, I'll almost certainly be sharing of a similar nature of intimate stories, because I think it's really important. I kind of have just had that reaffirmed. It's so important that we talk about these things. People don't talk about stuff, and they go about their lives being hurt and unsure and scared. And it's important we share stories, sometimes really intimate and personal stories, sometimes fun and sexy stories, and sometimes sad and heartbreaking and gross stories, because sometimes sex is gross too, because we're people, we're organisms, and we do gross things all the time.
Yeah. I do want to also say one other outcome option is that she won't tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So you might never totally know, right? Like there are some intimate songs that I've written that I would never tell the person that it was actually about them.
Interesting.
I would never.
Yeah.
I would, even if they asked me directly, I would say no. So there, because of that, it's vulnerable for that person too, right? You're writing a song and you're talking about these vulnerable things, but you're not naming names, right? It's a song. It could be made up. It could be whatever. So, that's just something to consider as well. Like you might hear something that might not be the truth. So what I think, I agree with Jeremy about asking questions. If you really want to know, yes, you should ask. Your face was in her Gucci. Like you can ask her this question, but also like something that one of my favorite advice columnists, Dan Savage, always says is like, we don't get closure. No one can give that to us. And it kind of sounds to me like you might be seeking some sort of closure because this relationship is coming to an end, right? She's moving away.
Yeah.
And if this is kind of related to closure, like you're the only person that can give that to yourself.
Yeah.
Even if it's a hookup relationship, you might want some sort of closure or wondering about what could have been, but like you got to get there on your own. Like she's not necessarily going to be able to help you get there. You can try, but don't count on it, I guess is what I'm saying.
And the idea of closure I also think is interesting, because I think people really want their lives to kind of feel like it's a narrative, like it's a story. And sometimes our lives work that way in some cases, but a lot of times they don't. And closure is one of those things that if you're gonna get it, you have to give it to yourself. But it's also something that maybe isn't possible, or maybe you don't need it as much as you think. For me, I would want to know, just because I want to know what I meant to people, even if it's someone I'm never going to see again. Not necessarily because I want to hear the end of a story, because most stories in our lives, until we get to the last one, don't have an ending. At least not like an ending you can point to and say, and that was the end of that story, and then I started the next chapter. Like sometimes your life feels that way, but it doesn't really work that way. But I would want to know what I meant to someone, what my role, going back to talking about life as a story, which it's not, but I would want to know what my role was to them, how they experienced me, because
that is a lot to ask of somebody else to tell you.
Yeah,
who might not even know.
But I mean, you can ask them, was that song about me or not? And then that might be what you get. That's good enough.
That's true. That's true.
Especially, someone
Jeremy,
oh, go ahead. Oh, it's 11 already.
Like
oh my gosh.
Well, yeah. I mean, we probably need to wrap up, but I should tell you, like, you have meant a lot to me in my life.
Thank you. You too.
I didn't even know we were going to be like such good friends, and we started that show together, and
we've been all over. Like we ate haggis in Scotland, and we've met all kinds of B-list celebrities and has-beens together, and we've partied with people. We've had such great times. I'm so glad
We
that
really
we're
have.
friends.
Same.
Yeah.
You mean a lot to me.
Thank
If
you.
it wasn't clear, and if I ever write a song about you, Jeremy, I'll let you know. I won't keep
I'd
it a
appreciate it.
secret.
You don't need to. That's fine. That's having a song written about you is not my love language. I will say that my college girlfriend did a lot of stand up, and she's probably not watching this, so I can say, we were in college. I don't think anyone in college age does good stand up, but a lot of it was about me. And she'd always point to me in the audience if I was there and say, "That's the guy I'm talking about." And it wasn't a great,
Oh my God.
it wasn't a great time for me. But thanks so
my
much
God.
for joining, Liz. This has been the advice stream. We've been live all over the place. I hope that we gave you some helpful advice. Everybody out there that asked, please keep it coming. We'll be back next week at 9 p.m. Eastern time for another 2 hours. I'll probably have a special guest then too, although I don't know who it is yet. I should probably start asking people. And we'll likely be playing Out of This World. Maybe I'll get to the first level because I've been struggling at that game. Thanks again, Linz. Before we go, do you have anything coming up? Should I be plugging something? I mean, you have a baby.
No,
can I
that's
plug
what
your
I'm
baby?
working on right now.
No,
Unless you want to come to LA and watch some random improv, but
there might
really,
be
no.
people watching in LA. Maybe. I don't know. We're international.
Yeah, my team, The Agenda, has a show at UCB in March, on March. I don't know the date. March something. If you're in LA, March UCB, look up The Agenda comedy, the improv team. We're doing a show at some point.
Gotcha. So if you're in LA in March, look up when Lindsay's show is, and then you should go to it.
I wasn't prepared.
I know. I
didn't
should have
put it in
warned you
my
about
calendar.
that. There's no way to know. Maybe everyone, all 6 people watching the show, are in. Now we're down to 5. Are in LA. Thanks again, Lindsay. This was great. I miss you. I can't wait to see you soon.
I miss you too.
We should come out
and visit. This was so fun.
Thanks.
I would love that. Thanks for having me.
We'll bring our kid, and they can meet your kid, and it'll be like something weird. All right. Bye. I'll see you soon. Thanks so much. I love you, Lindsay. Talk to you soon.
Alrighty. Bye, Jeremy. Bye.